Alexandra, do you know those kids who are rude, always answering back?
Yes, I have one.
Yeah. Sometimes they get so angry they punch holes in the wall.
Yes, they throw furniture around or even things and items in the house.
They swear.
Yeah.
Those are very disrespectful behaviors.
And in this video, we're going to give you 4 steps on how to handle those disrespectful behaviors. I'm Alexandra Lilly, and this is Donna Palmer. And like we said, we're going to give you those great steps to really get to those really disrespectful behaviors, because those are hard to deal with.
You're right.
But before we get started, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell so that you are notified anytime we release a new video on how to deal with your child's challenging behaviors. Now, child and brain development is something we've been doing for decades. Definitely. And one thing that we understand is that disrespectful behavior is actually a reflection of something that's going on in the brain. So some of our children are struggling with problem solving, critical thinking, logic, reasoning, right?
And because of that, they get frustrated very easily, which leads to anger, which leads to outbursts, which manifests as disrespectful behavior. But one of the things we also understand is, yes, there is something that is going on in the brain, but these behaviors are not acceptable and they must be addressed. That is why we have formulated this 4-step plan that we have been using with our own kids and with all the families we are working with on a daily basis to help you and help us to address those behaviors and handle them effectively.
All right. Step number 1, do not take it personal.
Right.
Right? So just remember that it's not about you, it's about them. And it's about them using these behaviors to get what they want. So don't take it personal.
That's right.
Step number 2, don't make excuses. Call the behavior out for what it is.
Exactly.
So don't make excuses like, oh, it's my little toddler and they're just going through the terrible 2 phases if they're being disrespectful. Or those wonderful adolescence years where they're disrespectful. It's not an excuse for them to be disrespectful.
That's right.
We have to call out the behavior. So no more excuses.
Good.
Step number 3, stay calm and respond. Breathe. Take deep breaths.
Yep.
But do not react. So don't have this impulse reaction to say something that you don't want to say.
That's
or
right.
do something you don't want to do. Remain calm, take a deep breath, and just respond.
Yep.
Okay, but before we go to step number 4, which I know you're probably like, okay, just get to the...
It's coming.
Just tell me what it is. What do I do? What do I do? Right?
It's coming.
It is coming. But question for you. What are some of the disrespectful behaviors that you are encountering with your children? Let us know in the comments.
Okay, here's the big one. Step number 4. Have a plan. Now, let's get real. We all have that one child that can be very, very disrespectful, and they really get under our skin. So we know the behaviors. We know when it's going to happen. So just like when a hurricane is coming, the people who live in those areas, they know what to do. They board up their windows and they get everything they need to get in place. That is what we need to do. We need to have a plan put in place so when these behaviors surface, we can just execute the plan.
Okay, so what's the plan? What do we do?
Okay, so because I understand the way he thinks and I know what his reaction is going to be, more than likely, I'm going in with a plan. My plan is to go in, give the instructions very quickly, very clearly. Now, if I get pushback or an argument starts to happen, I disconnect.
Okay.
Right? Disconnect meaning I am going to literally leave his presence.
You have left the building.
Exactly. If I'm not there, it takes 2 to get into an argument.
Yes.
If one is not there, eventually the argument is going to have to stop. So I disconnect. I give the instruction with clear expectations. Can you put out the garbage by 6 o'clock in the morning? That's it.
And walk away.
And walk away. Now, maybe 2 hours later,
Yeah.
I see he didn't put out the garbage yet. I'm going to send him a friendly text and say, you know, hey, just a reminder, the garbage needs to go out. That's it.
Okay.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, we're checking on the garbage.
It's gone. And I'm like, yay.
Perfect.
I wait until I see him and I'm like, wow, thank you so much for putting out the garbage. That was a great help.
But what if the garbage never made it out? What do we do?
We go to plan B, where we move into consequences.
Yes.
So we will also formulate some consequences that we can put in place, and we will move right into executing that plan.
Perfect. Okay, Donna, so those are our disrespectful teenagers that we all love.
Yes, we do.
What about our younger kids or younger children? How do we deal with the child that is hitting and screaming at their mom?
Okay, so you know what, Alexandra? It's basically the same strategies.
Okay.
We're just using it in a different context. Okay. So it's the same disconnect, but how do we disconnect from a younger child? Basically, no eye contact,
Right.
no talking, no engaging with the child. It's just moving them through the motions. So if I have a 2-year-old who is screaming at me, hitting at me literally, and we see that all the time,
Yes.
and I think parents don't even think of it as being disrespectful behavior,
But
it is, and it will evolve if it's not being addressed. So as a parent, I am going to have to remove that child from me physically to a distance where they can't hit or they can't punch. And if they're screaming, I will have to disconnect, no eye contact, no engaging with them, and just creating that distance until they're able to calm down, and then we can move to reconnecting.
Perfect.
Okay, so just a quick recap of those 4 steps. Number 1, do not take the behavior personally. Number 2,
do not make excuses. Call out the behavior for what it is.
Number 3, stay calm.
Number 4, be prepared for that disrespectful behavior, but come in with a plan.
That's right.
Okay, so after all those steps, if you're feeling like, you know what, my child's disrespectful behavior has just gotten so out of control, I need help, I don't know where to start, I need resources, I need support, connect with us. We would love to help you. You can reach us at admin@parentingbeyondbehaviors.com.
And be sure to check out our next video where we are going to be talking about your child is not their behaviors.
Yes, and don't forget to subscribe and to like this video.